It can be pressed against something, some object in a backpack or in your purse. But regardless, it will not send a signal to the receiver, which will then send a haptic signal to your dog. So that's one. The other one is the continuous mode. The continuous mode on a remote training collar, which means if you press either button, if it has more than one button, then it can only send a signal to this receiver for a total of 12 seconds. So I'm going to keep holding it here. We'll see if that little light goes out. And there it goes. So if you hold it for 13 seconds, it will quit sending a signal and your dog will not be feeling anything from the remote collar. Now, contrary to what a lot of people believe, they think that was anti-toddler. In case a toddler gets a hold of this, and yeah, maybe so, but really when you talk to the engineers at length like I have, it was because they were concerned that just in case one of these buttons gets a little grime in it, little mud, little dirt, or just sticks for whatever reason, well, it won't keep sending a signal to your dog while you suddenly drive off to work. Okay, and then lastly, the highest level. This particular unit has 100 levels, and again, I always tell people don't really pay attention to that because you're always looking for a response from your dog. A response. In fact, I've had some people get so hung up on the number that I've had to tape over the window so that they would actually just look at their dog, let their dog tell them what level. I've had police service dogs that on high, they laugh at you. There's a model above this one called the Boss for a reason. There are hunting dogs who will run through briars and thorns all night long. And they'd be almost anemic come morning, and they just had the best night of their lives. So when it comes to physical harm, even the highest level, even on high, there will be no chance that you're really going to harm your dog. And that's contrary to what you'll read out there. Of course, you hop on Google, you go Google anything long enough, and you will finally get the answer you're looking for. But contrary to organizations like PETA, who the People's Ethical Treatment of Animals, what have you, they'll make you think that electricity is coursing through your dog's brain and it's scrambling all those neurons and it's turning your dog into a crazed animal, or it's causing seizures and giving heart attacks. Tell you what, I've been using remote collars since 1970 when they first came out. And I owned a veterinary hospital for many, many years. I've never heard of that, never seen that. No one's ever told that to me. There's no research out there that will verify that type of information. So, again, just watch out for the scare tactics. My mentor in Alaska, I remember him telling me when I was a young boy, he says, you're only stupid because you are stupid. Now, you chew on that for a little bit, because anytime he ever said anything, it had layer after layer after layer of meaning. You're only stupid because you are stupid. So give that a little bit of thought there. Okay, here's some things that can harm your dog with using a remote training collar. And let me go over those with you real quick. None of the things that the Oversight Committee, the USDA, is concerned with. Things that I'm concerned with. Okay, see these two little metal prongs here? Right here, two little metal prongs? Yep, there you go. If this collar is too tight on your dog's neck, or if it's perfectly fitting, but your dog wears this too long on the same spot, gets wet, it's humid, I've been swimming, moisture gets between those two metal contacts and your dog's skin. You let that happen enough, and your dog can suffer from what's called pressure necrosis. Now, that'd be these little metal contacts rubbing on your upper epidermis, that armor that you have that keeps you, the inside of your body, protected from this outside world full of bacteria, germs, everything else. So again, you get to rubbing on that enough, you can start to wear down that armor. And when you wear it down, of course, what did you just let in? The entire ecosystem into your body. What's the consequence of that? That thing starts to itch. It starts to burn as your body starts to fight off those infections. So, of course, what does the dog do? They scratch. And what's underneath those big old toenails of theirs? More bacteria, more of the ecosystem. And now it gets put in your dog's neck, and the next thing you know, you have this really stinky, nasty-looking hot spot. And they call them hot because like any infection, you get an infection in that area on your body, it's hot. You touch it, you go, ooh, that's warm. Same thing, hot spot. So to avoid that, here's what I do whenever I'm training. Remember, Captain wore one of these remote training collars for almost a year. Is one day it'd be here, another day it'd be over here, the other day it'd be over here. Sometimes if he was swimming, it was on the back of his neck, because even though it's waterproof, your transmitter does not talk to it when it's underneath the water. So you'll see duck hunters, they'll actually put these remote collars on the back of the dog's neck while they're retrieving ducks or doing training with decoys. So move it around. And of course, always check your dog's neck. And of course, don't put it on your dog if you're going to go to work for 10 hours that day and you have no intention of doing any training with your dog whatsoever. Just leave the darn thing off. You don't need to put it on. It does have to be snug. So again, always watch out for that pressure necrosis. Now here's another thing I recommend that you don't do. Cattle dog, where are you, buddy? You out here somewhere? Captain. There he is. Hop up here. All right, good man, good man. Okay, let me make sure everybody can see you on the camera there. Okay, so when these are on properly, they have to be snug. But notice with this particular unit, I have a quick snap. I love that. Here's why. Not just convenience for putting it on. If you need to put it on, Cattle dog, your ears in the way, buddy. I know I love you too, man. I love you, man. I love you. You know I love you. Okay. Now, the remote training collar, when it's on, it has to be very snug. Otherwise, it will not work. You can test it yourself. You can put that thing on high and just put one finger on the contact button, and you're not going to feel anything until you put that other finger on it and close the loop. So because it's so snug, the one thing, it's got to be able to be on here so snug that if he shakes his head, it's not going to move from here to here. You cannot. Just all you want to do is be able to get a couple fingers underneath that collar right there, and that's it, snug. So again, that sets you up for pressure necrosis. The other thing, let me take this off, Cattle dog. Free. Up, down, there you go. Okay, the reason why I said I like the quick snap is because once I find that perfect fit, I don't have to guess with it any longer. I don't have to sit there and go, what hole was I on yesterday? Was I like a hole number 10, hole number 12? And next thing you know, you find yourself really working the neck because your dog's not being still. And you're saying, be still, hold on, give me a second. Dog's got a lot of hair. And all that stuff's just going underneath your dog's neck. Highly recommend invest in a quick snap collar so there's less handling of your dog when you put the remote collar on your dog. Okay, and lastly, I don't know why these things came with a D-ring, but they did. Don't hook your leash to that. Do not. Hear me? Do not. Take D-ring if you have to and tape it down. Reason being, imagine, okay, your dog starts pulling you. Well, what's getting pulled into the neck? Those nice little metal contacts. Over, as you jerk, as you correct, or whatever you do whenever your dog's pulling you on a leash. So therefore, make sure your dog wears some sort of other training collar besides the remote collar, harness, what have you. Just don't hook your leash to the D-ring and you'll be fine. Okay, so that's really it. Cattle dog, come on up here, buddy. Again, you know, I show off Captain all the time because I think the biggest thing that you have to see is he has no fear of this darn collar. You know, right? Maybe because he hasn't worn one for like 5 years, but he didn't even have one when I was training him because, again, it's just my way of touching him. So again, all those of you out there that are maybe participating in our advanced virtual program across the world, man, get after it. There's a reason why Bryan loves to use a remote training collar to create a dog like Captain. It's called working smarter, not harder. Make sure everything is stereotyped across the board. But we will talk about in the next video, part 3, on how using a remote training collar improperly can break your dog's spirit. But it's not hard to use it properly. So therefore, none of you, after watching that video, should even have any qualms, any doubt whatsoever that you're going to end up breaking your dog's spirit. Huh, Cattle dog? Your spirit broken, buddy? Tell you what, there's been a few dogs in my life that I wouldn't have minded just a little breaking of that spirit, if you know what I mean. Not you, man. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. It's a lovely day out here. Hopefully that alleviated any fear of physical harming your dog with a remote collar. Really, again, these things were made for the reasonable and prudent dog owner. If you happen to be one of those, no chance that's going to happen other than a pressure and necrosis. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. I'll catch you next time. Hunt Cow Dog, ready to go play ball? Let's go play ball. Come on, we're out of here.